Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Mickela Panday's message via Facebook to the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and in particular, the new tyrant. I'm saying that as she would have said the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. The new tyrant who has taken over for Emperor Thanos Rowling, who has sailed into the sunset and is enjoying his retirement. We are talking about Tyrant Kams, a.k.a. Prime Minister Kamala Persad Bissessa. Yeah, a.k.a. That's all. She isn't really Kamala Persad Bissessa anymore. No. She's really Tyrant Kams, I'm telling you. That's really should be her real name at this point in time. Her new title at this point in time. Okay, so Mickela Panday says, Prime Minister, your government came to office promising change. Exactly. That is what everyone voted for you for. That was the reason why PNM people voted for the UNC. When UNC wins, everybody wins. That is what we believed. Everybody believed that. No, I'm not PNM, and I never voted PNM in my life, and I will never vote for that evil, demonic, tribal, destructive political party. The PNM people who are still defending their party as well are no different to the UNC fanatics outside there. But the fact of the matter is, many of them voted for UNC hoping that it would have been like in Panday's days, and even in Kamala's first term, which wasn't that bad. It was much better than this time around. The only mistake she really made back then was certain things when it pertains to Petrotrin, and also, besides that, the implementing of a limited state of emergency in order to combat crime. She started it way back then, but it didn't last for long though. It didn't last for long though. Most of her term in office was governed in a normal way, and yet crime was being reduced. You could understand that. You could believe that. Crime was being reduced even without a state of emergency. But she just fall in love, boy, with just using extra powers via state of emergency. It looks as though she just loves it now. So, Mickela Panday said, Prime Minister, your government came to office promising change, yet increasingly, it is embracing the very politics it asked the country to reject. Haven't I been saying that? Now, I'm not saying Mickela Panday has looked at any of my videos. I would love if you do. I would love if you do. But the point is, that is exactly what I've been saying for a very long time now. The same types of taxing, weaning policies that the UNC people said was a wicked government, the same policy of having high traffic fees, traffic fines, that Kamala herself said that was imposed by a wicked government in order to generate revenue. This woman, this deceptive woman, came into office and doubled them and tell people it's all about law and order. You can believe that. In less than a year, this woman changed tune and said, I have seen the light and I've seen now that this is a lawless nation, and therefore we have to double the fines in order to get things back under control. And as I said before, I didn't mind if you double the fines, quadruple the fines for speeding, you know. For speeding and reckless driving, they could do it how much you want. Basically, minor offenses, that was totally wrong. And that is what the poor man is affected by most of the times. And I'm telling you, Kamala herself said, a wicked government. So now, you should apologize to the former government, the PNM party, for calling them wicked then, because you come and double it. And that's just one thing. The UNC supporters and Kamala herself had a problem with how the PNM was trying to restrict people from protesting. This woman come and put restricted zones, which PNM never did. PNM just used to send the foot soldiers, Kamala's rough men, right? Because the police service never changes. So that's why I could call them Kamala's rough men even under PNM, right? Okay, UNC supporters was Kamala's rough men even when PNM was on the office, because she calls them rough men. Right? But the UNC people used to condemn them for arresting people. But that's what PNM used to do. Send the police and them to arrest people during protests. But this woman come and do more than that. Arresting people, and besides arresting people, not the government. I can't say her in particular. Right? But the government. I don't know if she's actually calling police to go and do anything. All I'm saying is, the government, the administration, right, has been has weaponized the police service to go after their political opponents and anyone who opposes them. So now people not just getting arrested for protesting, but they are restricted from protesting in certain areas under any circumstances. It's a restricted zone, and therefore you wouldn't get approval from the Commissioner of Police no matter what, no matter who you are. Even if you're a leader of a trade union, they still will not be allowed to protest in those zones. Getting back to what Mickela Panday said. I'm trying to cover certain things and show you all, right, the context about what she's saying. So if the PNM failed Trinidad and Tobago for 9.5 years, why is that failure now the benchmark against which you measure your government success? Exactly. Exactly. Right? Did you not ask the people to elect you because you promised to do better? Same thing. It's the same thing I've been saying, people. All the UNC fanatics and them outside there commenting on posts. And when I respond to people like David Welsh and they say, but all you never complain under the PNM, that has got me vexed in the first place because I was complaining all along. So don't put the all into that. But nevertheless, even though the PNM people complaining now, even though the trade unions are them complaining now, they voted for change. And yet they get to the same thing. And the hypocrites are them in the UNC telling people, oh, well, if you wasn't complaining under the PNM, shut up now. But that's the whole thing. Your government promised something different. The PNM didn't promise anything different. You know. The PNM continue to preach the winning gospel. Kamala, on the other hand, preached when UNC wins, everybody wins. Jobs upon jobs for people, Jed. You come and take away jobs upon jobs from people, Jed. So she went on to ask, so what changed? When legitimate questions are asked about your government's use of the state of emergency, preventive detention orders, and this exercise of state power, instead of answering them, you accuse your critics of trying to stoke hatred between the two major ethnic groups. Exactly. Using a race card just like PNM. I love this post from Mickela Panday. Mickela Panday, you are growing better. You're becoming better and better at this. Better and better at this. You're not sounding as spiteful as in the past, yet you're speaking facts. I hope you continue down this path. I hope you can even reach the stage in your heart where you can commend the government when they're doing good, even though we don't like what they're doing in general. I hope you can reach that stage as well. Let's go on. So she said emergency preventive detention orders and the exercise of state power. Instead of answering them, you accuse your critics of trying to stoke hatred between the two major ethnic groups. You dismiss them as social media trolls. Yeah. I am sure if Kamala sees my video, she will call me a troll as well, even though for years I've supported the UNC party. So you dismiss them as social media trolls, deranged commentators, and race grifters, and I will add agitators. Prime Minister, this constant resort to inflammatory and derogatory language diminishes the office of the Prime Minister and undermines the national unity you say you are committed to building. Exactly. Exactly. This woman, Kamala, is only talk now. When she talk about emancipation message and things, only talk. Because you are attacking the same people who you wanted vote for you. And then you will come in 2030, if you're still going up for elections again, which I highly doubt. You'll want them to vote for you again and go all in the people communities after calling them a lawless people, which there is lawlessness. And I believe in destroying, dismantling gang culture and so forth. Right? But there's lawlessness throughout the whole country anyhow you take it. But there are crime hotspots that PNM people do like to admit. Right? Lavantil and those kind of areas are crime hotspots, people. That's why people don't go in those kind of areas. But nevertheless, you cannot actually discriminate an entire people, right? And then expect them to still vote for you. You boldface. You abandon Grandy after begging for the vote. You get the vote and you abandon the people. She went on to say, when governments run short of answers, they too often reach for the oldest trick in politics. Race, exactly. Same card that PNM used, Kamala using now. I said that what it was. It is easier to create division than answer for your record, exactly. But what may have worked in the past will not work today. Governments can attack their critics. They can label them. They can try to change the conversation. But they cannot escape the difficult questions they must answer exactly. Exactly. And thank God, it has people outside here still, like Gary Griffith and Mickela Panday. Maybe those two should come together and operate a party as a team, you know. But then you see, both are very independent-minded individuals. And of course, Mickela Panday is definitely going to continue being the leader. And Gary Griffith may not want to be working under her, may not want to submit to her. You know, you must submit to your leaders in a party or whatever. So I don't know, but they would have made a nice team. They're not perfect, you know, people. And I'm not saying that I am sure if it is they win in 2030 that they will govern the nation any different to these two. But we had to try. We had to try something. We're going back and forth with this UNC and PNM. And UNC has gotten completely bad now, right? We'll still do a little better in certain ways when it comes to development and so forth. But they're just as dictatorial, right? Just as autocratic as the PNM, just as deceptive and manipulative as the PNM. So why not give somebody else a chance? My response, nevertheless, Tyrant Cam's change that she promised has become even more evil than PNM's demonic, autocratic, deceptive, manipulative, tribal, because she's using tribal politics as well, style of governance. Hopefully, though, one day we as a people will forget about race, because I'm seeing that now. I'm seeing that I was judging people based on my own personality. I don't vote based on race. I vote based on performance and policy. And that's why I used to vote for the UNC in the past. But I've realized now that UNC based votes on race just like the PNM. I've realized that now. And maybe, you see, sometimes these kind of things have to happen for you to open your eyes. I honestly thought the UNC people in general were different to the PNM, but they're not. They're not. I am not like them. I'm not like them because I will never support a party blindly, and definitely not because of race or any reason, but definitely not because of race. And that is what the UNC-based supporters are doing right now. They're turning and they're turning away their eyes from what is taking place. They're ignoring what is taking place. Just because their parties in office, and many of them, the people online, right, the activists online, are actually trying to defend what is taking place. They're not just ignoring it, they're defending it as well. So I said, hopefully one day we as a people will forget about race and give a new party an opportunity to govern TNT. Let's give Mickela Panday a chance now, people. Let's give Mickela Panday a chance. And if it is Farley decides to expand his party into Trinidad, we can give Farley a chance as well. But you see, he's cozy with this government, and he isn't condemning them at all, and that's why I don't know if to trust him. I'm not trusting anybody. The Bible says trust no man. But I'm just saying, at least Panday for now is sung as though she's a bit different. Maybe it's just because she's not in government. Kamala and them used to be sung just like Panday. So who knows? But the thing about it is we can't just continue saying, well, you know, don't trust anybody and just don't vote. We had to try and still vote. We had to try and give somebody else a chance and let them prove themselves. And if Mickela Panday come and do the same tata and betray the people in the same way, we will hold her accountable for that 5 years, and then we will vote for somebody else again.
Weather report for Trinidad and Tobago on Friday, July 31, 2026. The weather report for Friday, July 31, 2026 in Trinidad and Tobago projects a mix of scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms driven by an active intertropical convergence zone and an approaching tropical wave. Highs will reach 30 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius, dropping to a minimum low of 25 degrees Celsius at night. The feels like heat index temperature is expected to peak around 33 degrees Celsius. Scattered showers are highly probable with a 58% to 62% chance, and there is an ongoing risk of heavy downpours and lightning. Winds will blow from the east to southeast at 5 to 35 km per hour with localized gusty winds near heavy precipitation. Humidity will remain extremely high, ranging between 70% and 95%. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service warns that street or flash flooding is likely to occur in and near heavier shower or thunderstorm zones. The sea state will be moderate in open waters. Wave heights will range from 1.5 meters to 2.0 meters in open waters and from 1.0 meters to 1.5 meters in sheltered areas. Spring tides will be in effect throughout the day, causing occasionally choppy coastal waters.
Regional news now. Bahamas Minister of National Security, Miles LaRoda, says the Commissioner of Police is very concerned after learning that Adnan Oliver allegedly missed 81 court-ordered bail check-ins in over a 6-month period before being accused of killing a key witness in an armed robbery case. Now, the thing about it is that somebody commented online and said, you had to blame the police. I'm telling the police it's a waste of time no matter what country, you know. America is okay, and yet they always killing people that unarmed and all kind of thing too. And some of the conservatives on the right try to justify it and all kind of utter nonsense. But nevertheless, they said, if somebody could miss so many different appointments, right, with the police, you're supposed to go in and check in at your local, at your district police station. Where was the warrant to go and search for this man and so forth? Why the police took so long? Anyhow, the revelation has renewed scrutiny of the Bahamas bail monitoring and enforcement system, with questions being raised about how repeated breaches went unchecked. You see, so it's not only about the person that commented. It's being raised in the article as well. And whether stronger oversight is needed for persons released on bail. Put some people with an ankle bracelet, I guess, or something. I don't know. Oliver is accused of murdering a witness. My goodness, definitely. And why would you give somebody like that bail anyhow you take it? Oliver is accused of murdering a witness who was scheduled to testify against him in an upcoming armed robbery trial. Now, people try to tell me, oh, you're being a hypocrite, and you wanted these so-called people, so-and-so people, to be released. That's because no charges were laid against them smarties. This man has already been charged, and the trial is already taking place. Why would you give somebody like that is convicted, I mean not convicted, but charged with murder, bail? Madness. International news now. Trump highlights immigration enforcement and trucking directives amid evolving border policy. President Trump recently celebrated his administration's strict border enforcement record, claiming 0 illegal crossings along the southern border over the past 14 months. And I have no problem whatsoever with that. The radical leftists love open borders. I support closed borders. In Trinidad and around the world, you need to protect your borders, because you don't know what criminals could be coming in as well. And not to mention, people are supposed to enter your country the legal way. As part of a broader push to tighten national security and public safety, the administration has intensified efforts targeting non-English speaking commercial truck drivers, enforcing mandatory English proficiency standards, and revoking non-domiciled commercial licenses for unverified foreign operators across several states. Yeah, but okay, I could understand that to an extent, but still have some people that would have probably been given green cards and they can't speak English properly. But anyway, that's why they said unverified. Federal officials maintain that these actions protect national highways and restore strict adherence to existing immigration and transportation laws. The thing about it is, in the first place, America's immigration laws are far too extreme. Yeah, I know the conservatives are not going to like what I'm saying here. And yet they're bold-faced because they enter other people's countries without restrictions, without any restrictions. Because it's good, but because it's the great America, everybody wants to go to the great America. Everybody has to beg and spend tens of thousands of dollars and still hope and pray they get through and all kind of thing. And that's why a lot of the times, that's why it make people a lot of the times try to enter illegally. Because sometimes they have relatives, they miss their relatives, all kind of thing. I'm not trying to make excuses, I'm just saying, I will never do that. I ain't going to beg to go in nobody's country. If I had to go to America, which I would love to do one of these days, I will do it the legal way. And I ain't begging, I will just tell them I would like to come and visit. At the same time, this sweeping enforcement strategy has prompted ethical and faith-based reflection among many Christian conservatives like myself. I'm not just saying conservatives, Christian conservatives who support the rule of law. Because I do support the rule of law. While there is strong alignment on securing national borders and swiftly deporting dangerous gang members or violent criminals to ensure public safety, faith leaders and conservative advocates like myself increasingly caution against indiscriminate mass deportation. It is inhumane, people. Inhumane. You're deporting even children by themselves. From a Christian perspective, rooted in human dignity and compassion, removing long-settled, law-abiding individuals. Yeah, the people say, oh, but you broke the law by coming here illegally. We understand that you all are perfect, right? You all are saints, right? You all don't commit any crimes at all, right? Okay then. Or deporting young dreamers who were raised in the United States and know no other home. America is their home, you know, people. America is their home. The radical left is planting seeds of hatred into their minds. I'm not saying no, but America is their home. So United States and no other home risks tearing families apart and sending vulnerable people back to life-threatening conditions. A lot of those countries you're sending them back to, they could end up being murdered. Their families can be murdered. All they're studying about is the law, the law, the law. I'm telling you, people, I'm sorry. I am not like the radical left. I don't want to promote alphabet soup kind of cult here. And I don't want to promote open borders, but I believe in compassion. I believe in sifting through the whole thing, the whole population, finding the bad apples, finding the criminals, and sending them back. But the ones that are really working hard in the agricultural sector and so forth, working hard on the farms, working hard in the restaurants, and they're trying to earn an honest living. Why it is you want to send those people back? Protect your borders so that this does not happen in the future. You understand? The jihadists and these criminals and them, send them back because they want to destroy your country. They want to convert your country into a jihadist state. Send them back. But the people that love your country and really want to stay, why send them back? Nah, man. So advocates emphasize that a truly moral immigration framework must balance firm border security with justice, mercy. The Bible speaks about mercy and respect for human life. While mainstream news often frames immigration as a binary choice between open borders on the left, which I don't agree with, and mass deportation on the right, which I still don't agree with, millions of conservative Christians hold a nuanced view that separates law enforcement against dangerous criminals from compassionate pro-life policy for law-abiding citizens. More than 1,500 migrants have entered Ceuta, a Spanish territory on the northern coast of Africa bordering Morocco, in recent days, overwhelming local authorities and prompting officials to request a national emergency and military assistance. Now, you see, this is what I'm talking about, open borders. You have to protect your borders. I'm not being like the left and just saying, no, let everybody come in. I'm not saying that. Videos showed migrants swimming around border barriers and climbing fences to reach Spanish territory. Local officials say reception centers are full with facilities for unaccompanied minors operating at 2,400% of people capacity as Spain's government pledged an immediate response. Spain's government has rejected calls to declare a national emergency over the migrant surge in Ceuta, saying migration alone does not justify invoking emergency powers. I agree though. I agree. Because people, you see like what Trinidad doing here now? Changing our country into an autocracy? No. Stop using these kind of excuses. Get control of the situation, protect your borders, but don't try to come now and declare what a state of emergency. The decision means Ceuta cannot access special emergency funding or request military deployment. Well, find another way to do it. Find another way to do it without having to suspend the constitutional rights of citizens to freedom. Instead, the Interior Ministry says it will rely on additional police reinforcements and existing legal procedures to protect the border. I have no problem with that, people. Sorry to tell you. I know the UNC people say, no, but I want you buy. And the conservatives, definitely. Yes, people, this is real conservative news, and that's why I call it real conservative. Because my conservative values and opinions are based on the Bible, not on what Americans consider to be conservative. And there are a lot of people in America, a lot of Americans, just like myself, who are born-again Christians, and even Catholics as well, who think just like I do.
Dios mío de mi vida. Qué fuerte. No puede ser,
Psalm 24 1-3. God's ownership of the earth and entrance to his sanctuary. The earth belongs to the Lord, along with everything that fills it, the world and all who inhabit it. He is the one who set its foundations upon the seas and established it firm above the ocean waters. Who is allowed to climb the mountain of the Lord? Who can stand in his holy place?
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.